Hello, human beings. I think I caused some confusion in my last video when I tried to get into the idea of what my beliefs are re this current pandemic stuff. When I said I don't believe that maybe this is the right way to go or something like that, I don't remember exactly what I said. A couple of people in the comments section took that to mean that even though I said I wasn't, that I'm a denier and I think that everything will be fine if we just went about our business as usual. That's not what I believe. And believe me, if I believed that, that's what I would be saying. And if I believed that, I wouldn't be washing my hands like crazy. I wouldn't be social distancing. I wouldn't have stayed in basically the same place for the past 14 days. I'm really following. I'm probably following the guidelines better than most people I've encountered. So no, that's not what I believe. No, not at all. One thing that particularly worries me, though, is this kind of consensus I think seems to be forming in the media, both mainstream media and social media, that the only way we're going to get people to comply with the stuff that, by the way, I've been doing is to scare the bejesus out of them, to give them the worst case scenarios possible and then hit that hard, every chance we get. Worst case scenario, this many deaths, this many cases in California, this many cases in Washington. Pound it, pound it, pound it. Maybe there's a certain class of people for whom that's going to serve as a what's the word? Incentive to follow the rules. Doesn't work for me. Doesn't work at all for me. What that does when I see that particular information is it causes the depression wheels and the anxiety wheels and the everything is hopeless wheels to start turning. And I think for a certain class of people who are like me, that's going to lead them to think, well, why the hell am I even quarantining? Might as well just party like it's 1999, enjoy life while I can because we're all doomed. So that's where I am parting ways with some of the way that the media seems to be handling this. I think if we compare this to a war, which is, not my favorite comparison, but if you kept harping on all the defeats, you're going to lose the morale. And if you just keep saying we're getting defeated here, we're getting defeated there, we're getting defeated in Normandy and wherever else, I don't know where you get defeated in a war. If you keep harping on the defeats without mentioning any of the ways we're going to overcome this, then people just get depressed and we lose faith and we lose morale, and that's where I'm parting ways. Not that I'm saying you should stop washing your hands and you should go out and touch your face. Geez, I almost did touch my face. That's not it at all. For me, though, this is kind of interesting in philosophical terms, so I'll give you some Zen stuff here, because Zen, as I've often said, is maybe unique in terms of all the religions I know about, in that belief doesn't play a major role in it. And belief maybe plays a somewhat minor role in it, and it sort of fits in there somewhere. But most religions are all about belief. So if you believe these things, then you're going to act this way. That's how most religions go, and maybe this is why people are approaching the coronavirus pandemic the way they are, because they're in this mode of belief is the thing. In Zen, we don't emphasize any sort of belief system. You don't have to believe a certain way. And I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again in the context of what's going on now. I went to Tassajara a few years ago, 10 or more years ago, I guess. Now, I'd studied Zen with two teachers who did not do most of the ceremonial stuff. Nishijima Roshi didn't do it because he believed that in Japan, the ceremonial parts of Zen had overtaken everything and people weren't meditating anymore and reading the philosophy anymore. They were just doing ceremonies. I'm not sure why Tim didn't do all the ceremonies. I should ask him one day, but he didn't do them either, and maybe he thought this was not the way to teach Americans, or maybe it's something he learned from his teacher, Kobun Chino. But in any case, I had two teachers who didn't do that. Then I went to Tassajara, where they take the ceremonies pretty seriously. They do them every morning, and they do a full service, not just once a week or once a month or once every 3 months or whatever, like a lot of places do, but every day you go through the whole ceremonial thing in the morning, which takes like 45 minutes or something. At first, I didn't want to do it because I didn't believe in it. And I did it anyway because I signed up for this, and I'm not going to be a jerk and not participate when everybody else is doing it, so I did it. And after a while of doing it, I saw, okay, I don't have to believe this. Doing it for its own sake is good and makes a difference. And that's kind of how I feel about this stuff that's going on right now. The whole society, most of society, has decided we're going to do these things. We're going to quarantine everybody. We're going to wash our hands obsessively. We're going to stay 2 meters or 6 feet away from everybody, not gather, not go see friends, etc., etc. You know the drill by now. And I'm participating. I am a full participant, just as I was at Tassajara. And I don't need to believe anything about it. I don't need to believe that this will fix the problem of coronavirus. I don't need to believe that this is something we're just doing for the sake of it and we're all doomed anyway, whether we do it or not. I don't have to believe that. It doesn't matter what I believe. I feel that going along with the flow in this case is the most sensible option, which is funny because, Noah Levine's thing is called Against the Stream. I was never part of that, but I've always been that sort of against the stream sort of person. In this case, I don't feel like going against the stream is the thing to do. Going exactly with the stream is the thing to do, but whether I believe the stream or not is entirely irrelevant. So that's all I thought I'd say today. I had a whole other thing about why we don't do guided meditation in Zen. Maybe I'll do that later. And a couple of people have requested different things, and I'll see if I can work those up for tomorrow maybe, or next day, or whatever. I'll start making notes. But I do appreciate your continued viewing and your continued support. Patreon and PayPal links are below. As always, that's how I make my living, and I am perfectly aware that everybody's struggling right now, so if you want to put me on hold for a while, it's no sweat. I will manage. I'm not starving yet. Maybe soon. I don't know. But, this whole idea that everything's going to go to hell in 2 weeks or something like that, I don't need to believe that. I don't need somebody to tell me that. I don't need somebody to point me to a webpage that's going to convince me of that, because it doesn't matter to me what I believe. I'm going to do this anyway, and if you want my recommendation, the 1,000 or so of you who watch these videos, I would say you should do it too. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say. See you next time. Bye.